Hey guys, so I'm here today to film a kind of like a rant video, but I'm just gonna get ready while I do it. I want to talk about the fact that if you haven't seen, Sephora has actually laid off all of their part-time employees, and so I wanted to talk about that because I, spoiler alert, think it's bullshit. So I'm going to kind of tell you all the research I've done, what I've learned about it. I haven't really seen any channels talking about it, which is kind of fucked up because the beauty community has so much power that I'm a little bit disappointed to see them not using it right now. I understand maybe they don't want to get on Sephora's bad side because they want that brand deal, but right now I'm feeling fuck Sephora. So I'm just gonna do my face. I think I'm just gonna go for like kind of a soft glam kind of look. I already primed my eyes with my MAC Painterly paint pot, and so we're just gonna chat and talk some shit. So if you like that, you should subscribe to my channel because I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and we like to rant around here. So if you didn't see, I didn't see it getting a lot of coverage, like I said. Sephora laid off all of its part-time and seasonal employees. I believe it was last week on Wednesday, and they didn't, I haven't seen them make a statement about it. Like, they're just kind of acted like it didn't happen, but a lot of people were tweeting about it. And so I saw a couple tea channels like post about it on Twitter, but I haven't seen anybody make videos about it, which is kind of shitty because like we're always here for, you know, when brands are doing shady shit or influencers doing shady shit that brings in the drama, people have no problem talking about it. But then when it comes to this, like, we got crickets. I don't really know. So what happened was, to start off, Sephora put out a statement on, I believe it was March 17th when they were closing their stores, that basically said their employees would not be impacted. They would continue to pay their employees for their scheduled shifts. Now, I will say, considering part-time employees' schedules are really only released like every week or 2 weeks, that's kind of shady wording because that gets them out of being like, oh, the part-time employees weren't scheduled after that, sorry, which is why I think they use that wording. But they basically said that they would be, you know, none of their employees would be impacted by the fact that they're closing stores. They would continue to support their employees and their Sephora family because it was so important to them. And so everyone was like, oh my God, that's so great. And their Sephora employees, I'm sure we're happy to hear that. So many people have been laid off because of this, and like by so many companies that could afford to keep their employees on. Looking at you, Sephora. So on last Wednesday, they basically reneged on their statement they put out, and they fired a big chunk of employees. I don't know how many it was because, again, Sephora hasn't put out any information on it. But I saw one girl tweet that it was like 250 people just in her state. So think about how many states they are and how much impact that has. And also, just like a note, some people will be like, oh, well, it's just part-time employees. But I've worked retail a lot of my life. And what a lot of companies do is most retail companies, like more than half of their staff are part-time employees because they can give them less benefits. They don't have to give them as much. They can but they'll still schedule them for like 28 to 35 hours a week, but call them part-time because they're not working 40 hours. I know when I worked in a grocery store, if they scheduled you for like 40 hours for like so many weeks in a row, you would become full-time. So like they'd give you like 4 weeks 40, and then like they'd drop you down to 28 for 1 week so that you didn't have to do it. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing, and Sephora is no different. So when I say it was their part-time employees, please keep in mind that that is probably a huge chunk of their employee base because, like I said, they hire these employees so that they don't have to pay them as much money and so that they don't have to give them as many rights and benefits. So keep that in mind. That's just like the retail structure. I'm not really shading Sephora for that. I do think it's a shitty business practice, but it's a business practice that like nearly every retail chain does, so not a whole lot I can do about that. So that happened. So basically what happened was I saw tweets where girls said, or employees said, that they were texted by their manager about a mandatory conference call. And now the mandatory conference call, they were only told about it like, I think 15 or 20 minutes before it happened. They went on the mandatory conference call, and it was just like a 10-minute call where somebody read a script that basically told them they were fired. So everyone that was invited to this call was basically fired. And now, I know it's a trying time for literally everybody right now, but this is just my Sephora, or my Smashbox primer spray. My bottle broke, so I'm using this one. Like I said, I know it's a trying time for everybody. It's hard for businesses to stay afloat right now, make money right now, but I don't believe Sephora is one of those businesses. Small businesses are struggling right now. They're trying to keep their employees employed, and I totally get that. I sympathize with them. I understand that they don't really have another option. They're trying their best, and they might have to lay off employees. Fine. Sephora, I want you to know, hold on. I looked up how much money Sephora made last year. So they're owned by LVMH, which, just so you don't know, owns Louis Vuitton, Marc Jacobs, Dior, Fendi. Those are all like the fashion brands. They also own Makeup Forever, Benefit, Kendo brands, which includes Fenty and Kat Von D, or KVD, whatever it's called now, and the Sephora brand. They own Sephora. They own Tiffany & Co. They own Dom Perignon. They own Hennessy. So they're a huge company with like really expensive brands that probably, you know, have really high markups so that they can make a lot of fucking money. Last year, LVMH, their revenue was $54.7 billion. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, like net worth, or like, you know, it's kind of deceptive. But no, revenue is how much actual money they made. Sure, there's operating costs and stuff, but they made $54.7 billion. Billion. And Sephora, as a brand on its own, made $10 billion. $10 billion last year. So I saw Raw Beauty Chrissy tweet about this. At first she was like, wow, this is so fucked up. And then there were some reports coming out saying that these people weren't actually being fired. They were being temporarily laid off. So what a lot of companies are doing right now is called, you know, they're temporarily laying you off. Like, we can't afford to pay you right now, but when this is over, we'll just hire you back. Like, you won't have to apply and stuff. And so Raw Beauty Chrissy posted about it and was like, I'm sorry if like I spread misinformation. I thought they were fired, but apparently they're laid off, etc. And they'll be rehired after. And I have to say, that's still fucking unacceptable to me. Straight up. Because here's the thing. Sephora isn't laying you off temporarily so that, you know, you can come back after for your benefit. They're doing that for their own benefit. Do you know how much money and time they've put into training these people? Hiring a new employee is expensive because you have to put so many hours into training them. So they're not offering you the chance to come back after because they love you and care for you and they want to look out for you. They're doing it because it's the best thing for them, because they don't want to have to pay to hire new people and train new people. When this is all over, they want to be able to return to business as usual. And the easiest, most efficient way for them to do that is to just rehire the people that they've fired so that things can just pick right up when it's over. They're not, like I said, they're not doing this to benefit anyone except for themselves. So while I see Raw Beauty Chrissy's point of being like, okay, well, they weren't actually fired and I shouldn't have spread misinformation, I still say, no, fuck that. It is still not okay for Sephora to be laying off that many employees, or really any employees, to be laying these employees off when they are a $10 billion company, probably worth actually more when you're looking at, you know, how much money they make over the years. They made $10 billion last year, and there is just no excuse for them to be laying off employees at this time. They can afford to pay them. Let's be real. And like I said, the reason they're just laying them off for now is because they want things to be easier when this is all over and they come back from business. And let's not forget that right now, if you're subscribed to Sephora's newsletter, you're getting emails almost every day from Sephora about some free thing with purchase, like spend $35 and get this sample size, or spend this much and get this sample size, or, you know, keep in mind that the VIB sale is generally at the end of April and early March, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sephora went forward with it because they're trying to make money. They are still making money during this pandemic because they literally they started offering free shipping on their website with no minimum so that everyone could shop online with ease. How generous of them. They're doing it for you, not because it'll increase their sales. Come on now. They're still having like sales. They're still, like I said, sending me fucking emails every goddamn day with deals and promotions. But again, that's not for them. That's for you. Like, what is this eyebrow doing? Got a little out of hand. So Sephora is still making money, and like I said, they're offering free shipping. Think of all the money they make in free shipping that they could have used to they make in shipping that they could have used to pay their fucking employees, but they don't care about them. And I just think that overall this is a shady fucking move. Like I said, first of all, let's not forget that they literally put out a statement saying that they would continue to pay and employ their workers throughout this. They told us that. They told all of their customers that. They emailed it to me. They put it on Facebook. They put it on Twitter. They put it everywhere. Like, it's not a secret. They told us all they were going to continue to pay their employees, and now they're reneging on that. And they're saying, oh, just fucking kidding. And like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? I just think, like, while I see people's points of being like, oh, well, like, businesses can't afford to function right now, like, we're all hurting right now. I truly don't give a fuck about large corporations right now. I care about people who are losing their jobs and losing their homes and can't make their fucking rent payment because no one's implementing a rent freeze here and in the States, or a mortgage freeze here and in the States. So I care about the people, and Sephora has the money to keep their people employed. I also saw that they were offering, I don't have really like sound facts on this, but I saw someone tweet that they were offering severance pay, but that severance pay is only like a week. Usually it's like a week for every year you've worked there. So like, that's nothing. And I think that in the States, that if you accept severance pay, then you might not be eligible for EI. I don't know. I know that your EI rules are really intense. They're much different than ours, but I heard that. So people are just like, I saw people online telling people, like, if you got offered the severance pay from Sephora, don't take it because then it'll fuck up your EI. And with the EI, you can make money longer because we don't know how long this is going to go on for. And I just think that, like, you know what? Maybe if this had gone on for like 3 months and Sephora was like, okay, listen, we're not making any money, we can't afford to pay you, I could maybe sympathize more with that. But it's literally, it was 2 weeks since they said they weren't going to fire or, you know, stop paying their employees, that they stopped paying their employees. So it's very hard for me to have sympathy on a company that goes back on that so quickly. And like I said, I haven't seen them put out a statement or anything about it. I didn't get an email about it. I haven't seen them say a fucking word about it because they're hoping that no one notices. And let's not act like they're not still paying all of their executives X amount of dollars to make these decisions. They're not paying, you know, their managers and CEOs and whoever the fuck else millions of dollars to keep working, but they can't afford, like, the people, this is what I hate about capitalism. Let's talk about capitalism for a minute. Right now, the people that literally have savings and could afford to not make money for 3 months, they're the people that are still making money right now. They're the people whose jobs are protected. They're high up in corporations. And so even if corporations are closing down and laying off employees, those people are still the ones making money, where people who literally are living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to not have money, like myself included. Like, I own my house, but I still like live paycheck to paycheck. I don't have savings. Oh, I just stuck my finger in that. You know, like, I am in the category of just like everyday workers that would get fucked if I got laid off, that like can't afford everything. Just like, I don't just have like 3 months of like savings stockpiled up. But like rich people, they have tons of money that they could just fall back on, and they're the ones that are all still making money. And you know Sephora is still fucking paying those people instead of paying the people who actually need it. And like, that's shitty, straight up. I have notes, I'm just checking them. Okay, so this is where things get tricky for me personally and maybe other Canadians. So I saw this and I thought, wow, that's fucked up. I texted my friend about it and I was like, fuck Sephora forever. But then I was like, I wonder if it's different for like Sephora Canada. So I did, I basically just like searched when this all went down. I searched on Twitter for Sephora Canada, and I saw people tweeting that this wasn't the same for Sephora Canada. That basically what's happening is Sephora Canada hasn't laid off any of their employees. Sephora Canada is still paying their employees now. So I'm like, because like if you're an American, I strongly suggest boycotting Sephora. Like I said, I think the beauty community should be talking about this and should be saying a big fuck you to Sephora. I know in the States you guys have Ulta. We don't have Ulta here. If I did, I would happily shop there instead. But Sephora is kind of like, Sephora, I think in other countries like Canada and other countries across the world actually does better because there's a lack of competition. Ulta isn't there. Whereas for like us, we don't really have anything else. We don't have Ulta. We have Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada, and I am going to try and be more diligent about shopping at Shoppers when I can, just because like I honestly am so over Sephora right now. Like, I think I said this when I was talking with like their shitty rewards program a year or so ago, because like their $100 perk pisses me off to no end. I do want to be more conscious about shopping at Sephora or shopping at Shoppers Drug Mart, but at the same time there's tons of brands that are not available at Shoppers Drug Mart. And like also when Sephora does the 20% off pit sale, I like to stock up. But like I said, so Canadians aren't being affected by this. Canadians aren't being laid off by this or by Sephora Canada. So my question is like, do I boycott Sephora? Because like it's still owned by the overarching giant brand that I am pissed off at. But like, I just straightened my hair and like, but they're not firing Canadians. So like if you started like you need to continue to I think like if you're a Canadian, I think you should continue shopping on Sephora.ca, because if we stop shopping on Sephora.ca, it could negatively impact the Canadian employees. Now, keep in mind, in Canada, I don't know if you know this or not, but our government is doing a credit for employees if they keep, or for businesses, if they keep their employees employed, the government will give them a subsidy of up to 75% of the wages so that they can continue paying them. Now, what I've seen, I saw a tweet that said that Sephora was still paying employees 80% of their wages. So really they're only covering 5%, which is like still kind of shitty of them, but their employees are making 75% of their wages and they're staying employed, so I'll take it. I guess this kind of shows you what the government's impact has based on different countries, but at the same time, I just wish Sephora was doing more in the States, and like I said, they can 100% afford to do more than this. I'm gonna put on lipstick and eyeliner and be back, because like I can't do that while I'm talking, so hold on. Okay, I know like soft glam doesn't usually include liner, but like you can't stop me. And I just put on Max Whirl for lips. So yeah, that's what's going on with Sephora. I'm honestly super disappointed with Sephora in the States and LVMH as a whole. I think my plan is to deal with this as a Canadian is continue supporting Sephora.ca right now, mostly because it's so hard to get stuff online right now. Like not a lot of places are shipping and Sephora is. So I'll continue to support them right now because they are keeping their employees employed as long as that stands. And then once this is all over, if this ever ends, I want to shift to shopping more at Shoppers Drug Mart. And also, if you weren't aware, fellow Canadians, Ulta is coming to Canada. I have like beauty jobs like emailed to me from Indeed all the time. Like I have it set up to email to me and I just like never turned them off, even though I got a job like 2 years ago, or a different job 2 years ago. And I have seen job postings for like Ulta head office, so like they're starting to hire, so it's coming sooner rather than later, and Sephora better get their shit together because for now Ulta is still paying their employees, and I hope big corporations keep paying their employees, and I think a lot of people are keep taking note of who is paying their employees during this and who isn't, and keeping that in mind. Like for small businesses, I totally understand some places just can't, but large corporations that are making billions of dollars, that are giving their CEOs and their board of directors fucking bonuses and making millions of dollars, fuck them. They need to pay their employees while this is going on. They need to give their employees sick time if they're still open. They need to be better employers. And I think that this is gonna start making people realize that your dollar matters, and there are some brands that I'm not gonna wanna support when this is over. So I hope you found this informative. Not a very fucking uplifting video, but I do think it needs to be talked about. And like I said, I'm surprised no one else has talked about it. The beauty community has so much power. And although Sephora does carry some brands exclusively, there's lots of brands that you can get from other places. So they need to get their shit together and they need to treat their employees better. And like also I'm really feeling this soft glam look, just so you're clear. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what you think about this. Will you continue to purchase from Sephora? Are you in a place like Canada, like me, where there's not really many other options? Let a girl know down below. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying inside, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!